The film starts with a young woman, Melanie, crawling through a dark tunnel while being pursued by a zombie creature. The creature tries to grab her, but Melanie kicks it in the face and continues to escape. She manages to make it out to the surface, but a masked killer named the Psycho finds her. Despite Melanie's pleas and begging not to die again, the Psycho slams his pickaxe into her. 5 friends, Clover, her ex-boyfriend Max, their friends Megan and Nina's boyfriend Abe, are driving to a rural location to find Mel, who is Clover's sister. Mel has been missing for over a year, and the last clue they have is a video that Mel left Clover after an argument they had following the death of their mother, with a vague idea of her location. The friends stop at a gas station scene in Mel's video. Megan suggests they should join hands and pray since she thinks she has some kind of psychic powers to heal Clover's wound. While they were in the middle of the prayer, they got interrupted by a bus passing by, which nearly ran them over. Clover gets into the gas station to have some coffee and meets the creepy attendant, Dr. Alan Hill. After she paid for the coffee, Clover shows him Mel's picture and asks him if he has seen her around. Hill quickly guesses that she has gone missing and tells Clover that a lot of people go missing in a nearby place called Glory Valley. The friends travel further up the road during a heavy storm. Abe continues to drive despite not seeing much, and after they drive for a little while, they end up driving in front of a visitor's center. They see a cloudy wall in the sky and get out of the car to discover that the center is completely unaffected by the rain while the storm covers everything around it. There is no cell phone signal, and they see a cross sign on the ground before Abe, Nina, and Megan go inside the building while Clover and Max stay outside. Inside, the 3 find multiple things, like weapons on the wall, a calendar from 1998, and an hourglass on the wall. Megan goes to the bathroom to wash up, but there is no water. Nina finds a guest book and writes her name on it. Outside, Clover hears what sounds like Mel calling her from inside the rain, so she walks inside the storm to find her. Abe goes to another room of the building to find a bunch of missing people posters with no information, including one of Melanie's. Nina flips the page on the guest book to see other people's names written 13 times, including Melanie's, with her handwriting getting worse each time. The mysterious figure disappears and Clover gets lost in the storm until Max manages to pull her back outside the rain wall. Suddenly it gets dark, so Clover and Max get inside. They show the guest book to Clover and she sees Glory Valley written on the cover, and she realizes that they are at where Mel went missing. Nina then notices that the hourglass has turned over by itself. At that moment, they hear noise coming from outside and they look through the window to see that their car is missing. They go outside and find their car turned on while it is parked in the rain. When they try to get near it, whoever is driving it threatens to run them over. The group quickly gets back inside the building. Abe and Nina keep their eyes on the car while the rest look inside the house for anything they can use to get help. They find a basement door and go down to find a whole house with everything being dirty, indicating that no one has been down there for years. Max turns on the lights and finds a window that leads nowhere. He questions why there are windows inside a basement. Mel finds an old phone, but when she tries to call, it doesn't work. Megan then finds a radio, and when she tries it, all they get is static frequency. Upstairs, Abe and Nina hear noises coming from the other room. Abe goes to check it out while Nina stays by the window. After a few seconds, the light in the room goes out before she hears banging noises. She called Abe but didn't get any response. She goes to the room and turns on the lights to find the Psycho splitting Abe into half. The 3 hear Nina screaming and Max goes up to check it out. He sees the Psycho standing over Nina's body after he killed her with a pickaxe. Max runs back and the Psycho hears him. Clover and Max hide behind a door while Megan hides inside a closet. The Psycho goes down and looks for them. Max grabs a chair and tries to attack him, but the Psycho doesn't even flinch. Max tries to stab him with a piece of the chair, but the Psycho takes it from him and stabs him in the head, killing him instantly. He goes into the room where Clover and Megan are hiding. Clover quietly takes a small knife. The Psycho goes to the closet before he pulls Megan out. He grabs her and bashes her head against the floor repeatedly until her face is covered in blood. Clover attacks him and stabs him in the shoulder, but the Psycho is unfazed. She runs back upstairs and goes outside the house. Clover runs into the woods before she trips and falls. She gets back up to find what looks like Mel standing from the distance. Before she calls her out, the Psycho impales her from the back, killing her. The hourglass resets, and the 5 friends start to come back to life. They start at a different location, Megan in the bathroom, Nina writing her name a second time in the guest book, Abe while he discovers the missing people posters, and Max and Clover outside. They find their own missing posters on the wall with all the other people. Abe suggests they leave as Max tells him that their car is back outside. They notice a few differences from before, like lights flickering when they previously weren't. They suddenly hear the front door opening by itself. Abe rushes and closes it, but the door opens again. With the help of Max, they manage to barricade the door from the killer. But suddenly, Megan starts to get possessed, and her body contorted painfully before she piercingly screams, causing a blackout in the entire building. The group turns on their flashlight, but Megan is gone. They hear her from the other room. They go to check it out and find her levitating in the air while she mutters some words. She then starts to point at the missing people posters and starts channeling their voices, reciting the last words they spoke before they died. Megan tells the group to not let it in before her neck snaps, and she falls to the ground dead. At that moment, the group hears a knock on the front door. Abe checks it out through the window, but no one is there. They then hear what sounds like Mel begging them to let her in. Clover immediately tries to open the door, but Abe stops her and reminds her of what Megan said. Mel then starts to sound like she is being attacked by someone. Max opens up the door for Clover and she runs out, but no one is there. They notice that an old house has appeared in front. Suddenly, an unseen force throws Clover out before it pushes the rest of the group back inside and closes the door. It starts to drag Clover to the old house as she frantically tries to escape, but it stops as soon as she reaches the front door of the old house. Before Clover can escape, it pulls her inside the house and closes the door. Max tries to get out and help Clover, but Abe stops him and tells him that they need to try to save themselves as Clover might already be dead. Max asks Nina for her help, but she is on board with Abe. Abe then asks him if he thinks going out is what it takes for Clover to take him back. Max gets angry and tells them to screw themselves before he leaves the building. Clover wakes up to find herself surrounded by a bunch of mannequin dolls wearing clown masks. She sees a creepy old lady watching a TV while she breathes through an oxygen mask. She is watching old news about a mining accident that took the lives of many people. Clover tries to quietly escape, but the old lady stands up and starts to approach her. Clover begs her to let her out, but the old lady tells her that the only way out is to survive the night or to become a part of it. She attacks Clover before she puts the gas mask on her. After a few seconds, the old lady collapses into ash, while Clover's eye turns black as she is now possessed. Max goes to the old house, and the door opens up for him before he gets in to look for Clover. Abe and Nina run outside and get in their car. They start to drive off into the storm, but they spot a gigantic monster in the distance, forcing them to drive back. While they try to get out of the car, Abe is suddenly killed by the psycho before he goes over to Nina and kills her off-screen. While looking around, Max suddenly hears a noise coming from upstairs, so he goes to investigate. He finds a children's room filled with toy dolls. Before he leaves, a swinging chair starts to rock back and forth by itself. Max stops it, but the chair starts swinging again. He turns around to see a clown doll sitting on the chair. Max throws the doll, and he turns around to find the possessed Clover standing. She slashes his throat and kills him. Possessed Clover leaves the house while wearing one of the clown masks before she gets run over by the psycho and is killed too. The night resets once again, and the five are back again at the same place they started before. Megan notices that her hair is beginning to fall off. The friends barricade themselves in the bathroom. Abe gets thirsty and goes to get water from the sink. There is water this time, and he drinks before he gives the rest of the group. They all drink as they discuss what the old lady said to Clover. Abe suddenly starts to cough heavily before he violently explodes, to the horror of the others. Nina goes to wash up the blood, but Megan tells her that it is the water before she explodes too. The three run out of the bathroom. Megan then starts to cough before her leg explodes. She crawls to Max and Clover before her stomach swells and explodes. Her head finally explodes to the shock of the two. Clover tells Max to kill her as they cannot escape without their friends and assures him that they will have more chances as they only died 2 times out of 13. Max couldn't bring himself to do it before he explodes and dies too. Clover lays on the floor as she awaits her turn. She is then visited by Dr. Alan Hill, revealing that he is behind all of it. He tells Clover that she almost made it before she explodes and dies. The hourglass resets again. Megan notices that she is now growing new teeth. The group goes down to the basement and starts searching old documents to learn more about the place. Clover finds multiple IDs belonging to doctors who used to work at a mental hospital, and one of the IDs is Dr. Hill's. Abe then finds an article about the mining accident. The mining disaster happened in Glore Valley years ago after miners bored too deep into the earth, resulting in the death of over 1,100 people. As a result, the whole town got swallowed up by the earth, and that's why there are no houses around, and it explains the window of the basement we saw earlier. Nina opens a door there that leads to a dark tunnel. Max finds a videotape featuring one of the mining accident survivors being kept in a closed room. Hill appears on the tape to explain that the man is experiencing fear, anxiety, and more importantly, feeling hopeless. We then see another dead man in the room. After a few days, the captive starts consuming the dead man. The captive man slowly starts to deteriorate after experiencing the same time loop that the friends are dealing with. Hill explains that the man has become a Wendigo, which is basically a zombie-like creature we saw in the opening of the movie. The five realize that he is keeping them there for the same purpose, explaining why Megan is starting to change. Hill starts to speak to them through the radio, and he tells them that the only way any of them can survive is for one of them to die. Clover demands to meet him face to face, so he tells her to meet him in the woods alone. Hill taunts her by saying that Melanie is with him too. When she goes to find Hill, Abe suggests that they sacrifice Clover so they can survive, since she had already previously tried to commit suicide. Nina responds by impaling Abe and giving Megan and Max a chance to find Clover. While looking for Hill, Clover's leg gets caught by a bear trap before something in the dark drags her in. Nina sits by Abe's side as he slowly dies. He tells her to try to survive, but she tells him they will all survive together the next time. They end up getting killed by the psycho. While looking for Clover, Max and Megan find some of the houses that got buried as a result of the mining accident. They continue to look for her when they suddenly hear something in the dark. They try to hide, but they get attacked by a Wendigo. They try to run away, but Megan trips over a glass of an underground house. She tries to carefully get off, but the Wendigo reaches her and takes her down before he drags her away to her death. Clover is shown to survive as she crawls out of the darkness. She is found by Max. He tries to free her from the bear trap before they are found by another Wendigo. It is Melanie. She tries to attack them, but Max puts the bear trap on her face, giving them a chance to escape. They escape before they find a place to hide. Clover blames herself for bringing them up. When she hears that Megan has died, she gives him a broken shard and tells him to kill her as they should all start again together. Having no choice, Max slit her throat and kills her. He then sees Wendigo Melanie looking for them. Max drinks some water and curses Wendigo Melanie before he explodes. A flashback shows Clover and Melanie on the last day that they saw each other. Mel was heading for New York for a new life after their mother's death, but Clover didn't feel ready to join her, which led to their last conversation being an argument. Clover wakes up with her friends minus Megan, and they continue to look for clues to survive since their bodies are becoming like the Wendigos. They are shocked to find they are on their 13th night, which means if they die, they will not return and they will become part of the night. They open the window to see everything is different now, and they don't remember what happened after their third night. Abe then checks his phone to see if he has recorded something from their last deaths. They find a bunch of videos, like a worm moving inside Clover's face before it infects half of her face. In another video, they are shown traveling through a dark attic before they are chased and killed by a giant monster. Another one is where Max and Abe are walking around through a dark place before they are attacked by a Wendigo, and we see Max stabbing it in the head repeatedly, trying to kill it. In another video where Max has been cut up to pieces, and we hear sirens from outside. Nina turns to the camera, and she is bleeding from her eyes. We then see a video that Megan recorded. We see Hill checking Max's and Nina's bodies before he leaves through the door in the basement Nina found earlier. Megan tells the camera that she is going to follow him to see if she can find a way out, and we see her going through the door in the basement. The friends then hear sirens from outside, and they check outside to see all the monsters coming for them. Clover tells them that she is tired of running away. She says they at least need to try to save Megan and get out even if it means that they die for real. She grabs a weapon and goes to the basement door. All of them decide to join her, and they go through the door together. They travel through the dark tunnel until they come across a sunken house. The group goes inside the house and finds old clothes along with other kinds of stuff. They then see Wendigo Melanie in the distance before they suddenly get chased by other Wendigos. They run out of the house until they reach the house Megan fell into earlier. They see the psycho from above before he breaks the glass and gets in. The three tell Clover to save Megan and tell her that they will hold off the psycho. Clover looks for Megan until she gets attacked by Wendigo Melanie. Clover begs her to not do this before she pushes her on a spike, killing her. She tells her she loves her, but tells her that she is getting out. The three manage to overpower the psycho before they pick up a sledgehammer and smash his head like a watermelon. Clover reaches a dark place, where another Wendigo appears. She manages to hide until he is gone. She finally reaches the mental hospital where Hill works. She hears Megan screaming and finds her locked in a room with a chained Wendigo. Clover goes to look for the keys and ends up in Hill's office. She sees her psychiatric report on the desk before Hill comes into the room drinking coffee. He tells her that she is an intriguing patient since she has severe depression and 2 failed suicide attempts. Hill explains to her that the place feeds from their fears and all of their deaths have meaning except their combustion after they drank the water. Clover then notices a leak on the ceiling. While Hill turns his back and explains his research, Clover pushes his coffee into the dripping water and gets some of it in the coffee before she quietly pushes it back. He picks up the coffee and starts to drink. We see the other friends being chased by a Wendigo while the chained Wendigo is trying to eat Megan. Hill tells Clover that to make all his works effective, someone has to die. Clover tells him that if someone has to die, it is going to be him. He starts to feel unwell, and when he realizes what she did to him, he tries to attack her. She pushes him back before he explodes and dies. Clover quickly gets the keys and frees Megan just as the Wendigo breaks the chain. The two start to make their way out. They get chased by multiple Wendigos as they try to escape. They start to crawl out of the ground, but the Wendigos try to pull them back in. Fortunately, the two are rescued by the others, who manage to get out another way. They pull both of them out just as the timer runs out. They lay on the ground and daylight finally breaks as they now survived until dawn. The storm disappears and they get into their car and drive away for good. Before the credits roll, surveillance cameras in Hill's office show that a van is pulling up to a snowy cabin, setting up the opening of the game that the film is based on.